You good, Enya?
Yeah.
Okay. Welcome back to Popcorn and Beers, where some use tomatoes and others use thumbs. We use the stuff that gets you drunk. Welcome into the show today. I don't know if you caught that, if it's going to even be in the credits, but Jordan was flashing a cup to everybody and anybody that was willing to look. And it just reminded me, Jordan, of when Dune 2 came out. I know, weird, right? But hear me out. Here's why it reminded me of when Dune 2 came out. The popcorn box for Dune, the custom popcorn. Josh, are you familiar with the custom popcorn holder for Dune?
Yeah, that's why I just said butthole out loud.
Oh, I thought you said plow hole. But that's what it looked like to everybody.
In plowed hole, yeah.
So when Ryan Reynolds saw this, I don't know if you guys know the story behind the Wolverine popcorn box. Are you aware of the story behind the Wolverine popcorn box, Jordan?
Yeah, go for it.
Not the story.
So basically, Josh, when Ryan Reynolds saw this, he demanded that their custom popcorn box be more vulgar and plowable than the Dune 2 popcorn box. Thus, we got Wolverine with his mouth wide open for the popcorn box.
Yeah, somebody needs to sew them together.
You gotta love it. You gotta love the sense of humor. I hope crude humor keeps making a comeback. I really do, because I think we've gone far too long without it. Now, I might have just gotten a third entry into what do I want to watch as far as my drunk classic is concerned.
Human Centipede 3.
Here it goes. No, never going to do Human Centipede unless it's South Park's version of Human Centipede, I think. I don't know. Like, there's good and bad video game movies, right? We have good and bad video game movies.
Mostly bad.
Can we think of a good one really quick? What's a good video game movie?
Tomb Raider? Good video game movie.
Tomb Raider's okay. The first one, right? That was good.
He froze. Yeah, Tomb Raider was okay.
Oh, Josh
Doom was okay. Yeah.
Doom?
Van Helsing.
Doom is one of the worst movies ever made, bro. With The Rock?
Yeah.
I thought it was okay.
Oh, you're entitled. Sorry. Half a pop.
Half a pop.
Anyway. All right. And then what else do we have?
Gran Turismo.
Street Fighter. The other Street Fighter. Mortal Kombat. Mario Brothers. The other Mario Brothers.
And then Jordan, with his soft, nice, beautiful teaching voice, said Gran Turismo.
Gran Turismo's a good one. Uncharted
Was it?
Okay.
Did you review Gran Turismo? Because I don't recall you reviewing Gran Turismo. Did you?
I did, yeah. It was okay. It was good.
Uncharted was not okay.
Adaptation. Uncharted, I liked it. I liked Uncharted.
It was just fine. Like, it was watchable. It was watchable. What else? Like, okay, so anyway, like, yeah. I'm sure if we sat down and we really went over this, we could come up with a bunch of video game adaptations.
Civilization.
That would actually be an amazing movie, by the way.
A 45-hour movie.
Yes. And it would be phenomenal. Could you imagine just in meteors, like Caesar crashes to Earth, Cleopatra, and then like Abraham Lincoln, totally different era ever, crashes to Earth, and like Civilization would be an amazing movie if we really dug into how they would make, and then just out of nowhere there's a meteor shower in Egypt. What? Like, Civilization would be fantastic.
I'd dig it.
All right. Barbarians attacking you in like the 2024. It would be phenomenal. But we had a movie that was based on a video game that leaves so much meat on the bone. Like, so there's so much in the Borderlands universe created by these video games already that they've stemmed off into the Telltale games, right? So you have a bunch of different games that piece together the full storyline of Borderlands. It's almost impossible.
Is good. There's good lore there.
Yeah, there is. But
there's meat on the bone.
They didn't use it here, and that was my issue. So in this one, we have a cast. Jamie Lee is great. All right. Kate
Jamie
is
Foxx?
great. Kevin Hart is okay. Kevin Hart is Kevin Hart. He's just fine. I like the Psycho. The Psycho was good. The Psycho was probably the most redeemable character in the whole movie. And the CGI was good in spurts. Yeah. There were certain spurts where you're like, dang, that looks amazing. That's really good. Not enough skag play. We need a little bit more skag play.
Oh, that's a weird sentence.
Yeah. Close. It's Borderlands.
Set it for comedic effect, but I love my team. But anyway, I like playing with the Skag. All right, my Skag was really cool. One of the characters can walk around with his Skag and pet his Skag.
Oh yeah,
In this, you get 0 Skag play. There's no Skag play,
which
except
is weird.
For Kate. Yes,
Like,
because they're everywhere on Pandora.
It's not like the mascot. Borderlands is a game that has a lot of like flagship character types and stuff, but the Skag is on every intro to every one of the games. The Skag is a big part of the. Anyway,
I agree, and there's not enough creature play here. There's so many creatures on Pandora, and we got like 3. We got like 3 creatures on Pandora. One isn't even in the game. They just made one up. They just made one up for the movie.
Was it the Big Ugly?
Yeah, I was like, that guy's not in the game. We're gonna fight that guy. No, not
the big guy they drive through.
Yes.
Mm-mm.
Yeah, he's in the game.
I don't recall him being in the game, and I beat all 3.
He's the one in part 2. After you beat everything, he's like a super boss, and you usually need like online help to beat him.
That might be it, because I did, after I beat the storylines on it and did the side missions that were included, I did not I turned it off.
Oh, I replayed that game so much.
Oh, I know. You and your brother, like, you mend hearts with it. But outside of that, let's focus on this movie. This is a paycheck, man. This is a paycheck, and it made me so sad. Everybody collected a big old payday, and you could have, if you made a good movie here, spun this into so many sequels because it's such a vast universe. And instead of doing that, you had it was a fever dream for me. I was just like, we're here now? We're here now? What is happening here? Why did this happen? Why aren't we on a spaceship? Why did they not explore their little area? And then they do the city that's prevalent in part 2 at the very towards the end of the film. And I'm like, okay, so you're clearly gearing up for a sequel, but you had to make a good movie to get to the sequel, and you didn't make a good movie.
Yeah,
I don't know what happened here. I was so confused. Silly. And then the Tiny Tina storyline was rough at best, not amazing. I liked her though. Did I like her? I can't decide. Anyway, overall, I think I liked her. I like Jamie Lee Curtis, but it's hard not to like Jamie Lee Curtis.
Yeah.
Kate was just okay. I don't know why they went with Kate there. I think that we should have maybe gone different.
Come on.
Girl from Twister might have been good there. But anyway, for me, it was just a borderline popcorn one, because there are some great graphic scenes. There really are. And there are some stuff that would make you laugh. The Psycho was a good character. I liked him a lot. Outside of that, I don't know if I'm applying video game sensibilities to this or if I'm applying just film sensibilities to this. It was a popcorn. So I got to lower it to a popcorn originally because I did like some of the graphic design. I loved the set. I love the CGI in most of the movie. Not all, most of the movie. Sometimes it gets rough. I'm going to give it a popcorn.
I think that, before you go, Jordan, I'm sorry. I think it's obviously such a big bummer because if a video game could be a superhero character, Borderlands, the series, the franchise, is Deadpool. Yeah. And guess what's popping right now? Deadpool. I thought we were done making, terrible adaptations and listening to producers. Why don't we get some nerds in a room and have them figure it out? It's really simple. That's how MCU got big. Bunch of nerds in a room.
Yeah.
Yeah, and this could be a universe.
Could be a universe.
It felt like they got a little scared and they didn't know whether to commit to this being okay, let's make this, let's open end this to have this be like a franchise, or let's just have this be just a movie that's a self-contained movie. They kind of got freaked out and they got themselves in limbo and they were like, oh, and it just didn't work out one way or the other very well. I'm not that as invested into the video game franchise as you guys are, that nostalgic for it. So I liked it. I definitely, for me, started to go a little off the rails with the whole she's got wings and the vault world. I don't want to spoil anything. The vault world thing wasn't explained enough. What was going on in there? Yeah. It was kind of confusing. I'm like, there's a monster inside of the vault, I guess. But Kevin Hart was definitely the weakest link in pretty much all of this, and the bad lady soldier that was on the bike chasing them around.
Oh, the general or whatever she was.
Yeah,
Colonel, commander. She was commander something.
Was it Crimson Commandos or someone else?
Yeah. her character.
She was the commander of the Crimson Raiders.
Yeah, she didn't play very well, but the action was cool, was satisfying. I liked, from what I had played of the video game, I thought they adapted it pretty well. Ace of Spades, it's just a great song choice from the old Tony Hawk Pro Skater.
Oh, I buy that.
In any action sequence, you're gonna that's gonna up the energy. Jack Black as the little robot was fantastic.
Sorry, he was good. Yeah, he was solid. He actually did it well.
Absolutely loved it. Every line, everything he had to say I was cracking up. The crapping bullets, the distraction scene for the psychos. Just that's all time. I really, really loved that. I would watch this movie again. I really enjoyed it.
Wow.
I took my wife to watch it with me, and she really enjoyed it. I did not think she was going to like it that much. She was like, I really liked that movie. That was really fun. Had no idea about any of it whatsoever.
That might be the way to go in.
Yeah,
it might be. How do you guys respond to the 7% rating on Rotten Tomatoes?
It was better than that.
That's fair.
It was better than that. It's a bunch of critics being assholes. That's what I didn't want to do. I did not want to do that. But it is a fever dream. It does go off the rails quite a bit from time to time. And then there's some unnecessary stuff, like the character that Jordan mentions. They try to force, a love connection between her and Kevin Hart. And that was just, stupid. It's awkward. It was unnecessary. He could have been her troop. That would have been fine. He was my troop. He worked for me, and he's great. Yeah. But no, no, we clearly hooked up. And it was it's just unnecessary joke.
Yeah. Yeah. The color scheming and paletting and all that of this movie, all the, vibrant, everything bouncing off each other, coordinating.
It was pretty.
Really cool. Yeah. Very enjoyable to see all that. I'm going to give it a popcorn and 1.
Wow,
I liked it. I've recommended this already to a few people. This was a fun movie. Definitely a good summer movie. Just in and out. It's not that long. So.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hour 40.
Yeah, hour 40.
Yeah. And the cutscene with Claptrap was funny too.
Yeah. For sure.
So Josh, you going to go see it?
We'll see. I don't know about in theaters.
Well, the big thing too is also that it got $8 million out of a $120 million budget on its opening weekend, which is not good. But look, you're still going up against Deadpool and Wolverine.
Yeah.
And it's kind of a niche.
The new number 1.
Yeah.
Ever.
People are rewatching it 2-3 times, so it's what are you gonna do?
It was rewatchable too. I did go. I mentioned this in the pre-production meeting. I did go and see it again with Anna. That's my wife, for the audience, and she loved it too. She said it was a bit too long, which I could see that. It has its moments where it drags. But the first time I watched it, I felt like it was well paced. I was like, nah, it's good. It moved well. The fight scenes are great. The quips are great. I think that Blake Lively is Lady Deathpool, right?
Yeah.
So there's a lot to like there.
His kids are also in it. He's baby.
Yeah, I saw a little montage of everyone who was everyone. It's his favorite stunt doubles from previous movies. He's got the dude from Wrexham, like you said. He's got kids. He's got wife. Yeah. He's got a lot of folks are in it. Yeah.
Matthew McConaughey, the cowboy pool.
Yeah,
I think so. Yeah.
Okay. I didn't catch it the first time, but this time I guess I listened closer to the voice. I was like, I think that's Matthew McConaughey.
Pretty cool.
Yeah, I mean, I hope we get this universe to keep going, and I hope it can be sort of like a Sandman universe, how Adam Sandler just keeps his friends in all of his movies, and they just go out and have a good time.
Yeah.
Except for these would be good movies.
I think the epic box office failure and review bombing failure of this movie, it's gonna create a revamp, like a redo. You know what I mean? They're gonna make a TV show for HBO Max, and it's gonna be a new cast, and they're gonna put way more nerd into it.
I'd mess with that because look at Fallout.
Yeah, Fallout was great, and these big budget, Apple needs something, right? They need something to keep up. Apple's had really good shows. They haven't quite hit the mark on a lot of their movies. I say that knowing that they're an Oscar winner, but I mean, if we're all real with each other, Coda should not have won the Oscar for Best Picture. Moving on, I agree, Jordan. I think there's a lot that can be done here. I think take some time, make a good movie out of this story. I think it's fantastic. I mean, Josh might correct me. I think it's Borderlands 2. There's a scene where you're in the sewers or a story mode, like a side quest, where you fight little itty bitty psychos, but they're Ninja Turtles. and they're named like after the Ninja Turtles in the sewer, and it's fantastic. Like there's a lot here. There's a lot of fun here.
There's Game of Thrones references. There's a ton of references in the game, and they're just off enough to not be copyright.
Yeah, like I think one of the turtles is named Leandro or something like that. Like it's pretty wild. Kind of like Jordan's pick for our drunk classic.
Wild.
Right, Jordan, explain yourself, because I used to like this movie, and now I thought it was okay.
Yeah, it was okay. It was okay.
Emil Hirsch was hard, man. It was hard to watch.
Emil Hirsch, really?
Yeah, and this is the movie that had him take off. No, I do not like him as a Latino like banger.
Yeah.
I didn't like it at all. Like the more I watched it, I was like,
it's that's got to be just like an LA thing of the time, though, right? That was just it.
Maybe.
The whole
he's
like solo.
so white.
No, I know. I think it's obvious that he's supposed to be a white guy, but still, I don't know if it really mattered all that much back then. Like he lived in the neighborhood; those were his homies.
Yeah, neighborhood's a neighborhood.
I didn't have to suspend too much disbelief. I do agree that it was like weird that like
And
he
his
went
voice
way
sucked.
over the top. Yeah, for sure. The guy with the red cheeks, the guy that played Stacy
Peralta.
Stacy
Yeah,
Peralta. Yeah,
Yeah, Wes.
Wes from Snapman.
That guy, he bothered me. He's just too babyface, red cheek guy.
Well, he nailed
he's
the
also
role because he
getting
bothered
paid.
everyone in the movie too. Like the whole thing was just about like, yo, he's weird. Like he was just as good as everybody else. They just thought he was weird.
But he was too straight edge, man.
Yeah.
Remember what he said?
He had
So
a real,
straight up, he doesn't cast the shadow.
Yep. Heath Ledger plays Pete Davidson. Basically, he time traveled to the future, looked at Pete Davidson, and was like, "Yeah, that's the character he's going to be." But he was good. He was funny, ridiculous. Like I don't know, it was like false teeth or thing going on out there, and he's like looking like that. The whole movie is kind of funny. A lot of just cameos of actors that you will come to know later on.
Yeah.
We had Foggy from Daredevil. We had Sofia Vergara, America Ferrera, Tony Hawk was in this. Jeremy Renner was in this.
Jeremy Renner. He looked like crap in this.
Right.
But I guess he's supposed to play a cokehead, but he looked terrible in this.
So yeah, this movie is just John Knoxville, yeah. This movie was a sort of a biopic of the Dogtown Z-Boys, the guys who created this surf-style skateboarding, draining pools and shredding people's pools, running around properties, causing ruckus around L.A.
Ruckus.
Venice
I
Beach.
love it when he threw
an
orange, right? Threw right at the cop's face.
Lemon.
Lemon.
Lemon. It wasn't a cop. It was the guy that they were making sweet with his wife or whatever. Like she makes him a sandwich and shit with it.
So good.
Skateboard in the pool. Yeah.
Yeah, just a summer teenage skateboarding punk romp movie, and it was. I liked this a lot more when this came out. I was in junior high. I thought this was awesome, but now as an adult, it's just a little. It's very cheesy, very corny. But I think it's just a good story, and I mean, kind of, so Popcorn and One.
Popcorn and One.
Yeah.
Josh? I'm gonna go with you with the Popcorn and One. They did some cool things. The characters were okay. I liked Emil Hirsch. Everyone did okay. Great choice. Somehow it worked with the filter. They made it look like you're on old film. Maybe they actually filmed it with old film, but it was a little bit distracting. But it was pulling off what it was supposed to pull off. I guess that's a contradictive statement, but I don't know. It's one of those biopics where it's like this could be cooler, but it's in the end kind of a boring story. Like not everything needs to be a biopic, but they did. It was good though. I mean, it was good with the little going through the neighborhoods on the skateboards. That was fun. This reminds me of my dad a little bit. My dad was a skateboarder, but he was a skateboarder before this era. Like he was kind of growing out of it when this was getting big. So he said in his day, it was just
jacked dad was riding around on a skateboard.
On a banana board, dude, like one of the little ones.
With short shorts, like 70s short shorts.
No shirt. Beefcake.
There you go.
But he said back then it's really just like how fast can you go? And let's find a hill and bomb it. They just bombed hills. That's what he did in his day. So all these tricks and stuff, he was like, what are they doing? But it was cool to see how that developed. Unfortunately, it's the old days when not a lot of stuff is really like Rodney Mullen's not out yet. Rodney Mullen's the guy who made the footwork big time. We all know him from the video game and nothing else. And so because of that, the tricks they were doing, it's like, oh, what are you doing? You know, it's kind of like watching Breaking 2, Electric Boogaloo. It's like, what is that?
No, this was bad. Don't ever compare Jordan's.
Don't ever compare Jordan's Drug Classic to that movie.
This was much better than Electric Boogaloo. However, Popcorn and One. It was interesting. The characters were interesting. The way the story develops. Yeah, sure. I would never watch this again, but I wouldn't be mad if it was on, I guess.
Yeah, the trick competition thing, the old guy in me was just really bothered that he decided to wear white pants and he's sliding all over the ground. And I'm like, bro, come on. That killed me. That really made me angry.
Like, I will say this, a lot of Emil Hirsch's character just irritated me. Like, so much of it. Like, hitting on your friend's girl, being jealous of your friend, like, the way he acted around the surfboard when his dad, like, show that you're in pain by attacking the surfboard. And maybe that really happened in real life, but the scene sucked. And I was sitting there the whole time like, man, what are you doing? That's probably like a $500 surfboard you're just destroying because you're mad.
Pawn that and pay your mom's bills, help her out.
Yeah, there you go. Instead of, I think at the end we find out that person in real life ended up getting caught on drug charges in Hawaii. So there's a lot here. I didn't necessarily like Tony V. Like, he was okay, but at the same time, he's helping Emil Hirsch's character hook up with his sister in the same room. That was weird. That was super weird because it took me a second to register, but I was like, wait, that's your sister in the bed next to you, and you're encouraging your friend to pound your sister, and you're going to have sex with her friend in the bed next to them in the same room. So what is happening right now? Like, my brain was registering it all as it was occurring, and I was like, this is kind of gross, man. I don't like any of this. That's something that I don't know. Maybe it was probably
not
a good time.
Necessary scene.
No, especially if you start to put the pieces together. When you're like, wait, that's your sister, that's your friend's girlfriend, they're in the same room as you in this other. It's weird. It was all weird.
Stinky in that room.
Different era.
Yeah. Maybe it's an era thing, right? So you have the degenerate skateboarders of this era, and really you find out that the degenerate skateboarders of this era are the ones that created skateboarding culture. Yeah. That built all of what skateboarding is. And you start to see, future visions of how high they would fly and where they would go, where they would take the sport, right? Tony V was obviously very strong, like physically strong. So he was able to pull off some tricks that other people couldn't pull off because he was so much stronger. And sucks what happened to him in the movie, but you do kind of see what happens to Heath Ledger's character as they all diversify. And eventually the message here is pay your employees. It was just that easy. If he had paid his employees, he would be the biggest skate shop in the whole world because all of these people ended up being the biggest people in the industry. And if he had just paid them, they would have stuck around. And he just didn't. He refused to pay his employees in the skate shop. He refused to pay, let customers shop in the surf shop. If you remember all the way back to the first scene, he was his own downfall, as was Emil Hirsch, because Emil Hirsch refused to sign with the big brands. Out of some weird need, I guess, but I needed to pay my mom's bills. Everyone else seemed like they were doing pretty okay. Yeah. At the end of the day, it is a Popcorn and One. It's very indie. I didn't remember how indie this film was.
Yeah.
Very indie.
I'll tell you what I was watching. I am the knight. I am
That's solid, actually. That's a really solid outside of why are they curving? Is he?
Yeah, I was like, go ahead. Sorry.
I was gonna say, is he combined with a Beetleborg?
He's listening to something. No, it's I was trying to pull off the style of the costume in the Amazon series, and they weren't that curvy, but that's just how I saw it in my brain. Because in this version of the animated series, they're very long and slender. So I was just playing off of that. But, I watched the first and only season of Batman, Caped Crusader. And I think it's on Prime. It is on Prime. I think it was originally on Max or something. I don't know how that works. Mm-hmm. But I'll tell you something. I say was one of the better adaptations. It's not the best, but it's one of the better ones. Like I said last week, it's kind of the same team. Bruce Timm is involved in it heavily, executive producer or whatever, and he's the guy who was in charge of almost all the cartoons from DC back in the day: Superman, Justice League Unlimited, and of course Batman the Animated Series. And this is strongly the progeny of animated series Batman from back then. It's the same aesthetic, the same style, the same tone, very similar voice work.
Who's voicing the Joker?
There's no Joker this season, bud.
Oh, that's dumb.
Well, I'll tell you something, dude. It might be an issue for him. I'll get to that. But what this thing did is it's a retelling. It's kind of year one, but not quite year one Batman. But we are introducing a lot of people brand new. Like you get to see Harvey Dent before he becomes Two-Face. You get to see Gordon, who doesn't know Batman really that well, and they kind of get to be allies. You know, we've been retelling that section of Batman for a while, but I'll tell you something. In this aesthetic, the 1940s-ish Art Deco style, kind of high tech, but not really. It's playing with that juxtaposition of era and technology and style. This is where Batman shines the best to me. It's not. I love Gray Suit Batman.
Gray Suit Batman's great.
Yeah, but this is a world where he's not hanging out with Superman and like, hey, Batman, thanks for being here and helping us figure out a plan because you're so smart. In this one, it's Batman like he's the dude. He's that dude. He can punch hard. You get to see him do all the stuff you'd like to see from Batman. Regarding the characters, the bad guy. Does he
fall in love?
He does not fall in love. What this did... Oh, by the way, J.J. Abrams director. So that's nice.
Yeah, that is nice.
It's
I'm
very
thinking
nice.
Poison Ivy style, Catwoman style.
Well,
Lois Lane style when he's feeling groovy.
Yep.
What?
If you nasty. He does kiss Catwoman, so there's that.
Okay,
and
so there we go. We get one.
The best thing about this show, though, is it's a retelling, of course, but all the characters have been tweaked. But not so much that they're different characters. In this, you see Batman... Bruce Wayne is heavily used throughout the show, and it's not in a way you don't like. You get to see more Bruce Wayne, and he's not the same Bruce Wayne. He's kind of he's playing that role of Bruce Wayne, playboy, philanthropist guy, but he kind of is that, sort of. And it makes it evident that he is from the upper crust. He calls him Pennyworth. He doesn't call him Alfred. He doesn't treat him like an uncle. He treats him like his butler. But they play with that theme. And then let's get to Two-Face. Not much is different about Two-Face. These aren't really spoilers. But the difference is, in this one, the ugly side is the good side. And it doesn't sound like a big deal, but it's just a little tweak. That's an example of Harley Quinn is actually kind of totally different. But it's one of the coolest takes on Harley Quinn I've ever seen. It's really cool. It's different. Who else is good? They got a guy named Firebug. They show his psychopathy, like he's deranged as hell, and they pull that off really well. Barbara Gordon's different. Commissioner Gordon's different. The mayor's different. Thornton is different. Who's the Penguin is a woman. We've gone over this. Penguin was the biggest change, but it was a cool take, and all these little twists are they're not like we're reinventing the character. We're showing you a part of the whole of this character that maybe you haven't seen before, but it builds the overall. And so I give this show a popcorn and 2. I think it's highly watchable. It's hard not to compare it to Invincible or X-Men, but I think just like when I was a kid, I preferred watching the X-Men cartoon as a kid, but I always wanted to watch Batman as well. It's in its own lane. Where the hell
is your action figure?
What?
I've been waiting the whole thing. I've heard it's in its own lane 3 times, and I've been waiting for the action figure to come out. I know you have 7 You have 7 Batmans.
Oh, they're in the trunk.
You do.
Because all my X-Men are out. Get it? I
mean, for Deadpool. All the X-Men are out for Deadpool.
So, yeah. Popcorn and 2, I think it's highly watchable. I'm not sure, because they didn't have Joker. They didn't have a lot of big names. I'm not sure if it's going to get a season 2. But I would like to see it.
Maybe they're saving the big names for the season 2.
Definitely. Yeah, they're building. It's definitely building. Ooh, Clayface was great! Anyway.
Clayface versus Sandman is always a villain's battle that I would love to see.
That'd be cool.
Because they're very similar.
Yep.
But maybe Clayface would just absorb the Sandman. I don't know. And then Sandman would re-solidify inside of Clayface, exploding Clayface everywhere and all. And anyway, I'm writing it for them. Do your job, writers. I watched Vengeance. I watched Vengeance, and it's a BJ Novak vehicle. And if you don't know who BJ Novak is, he's one of the main producers on The Office. Yeah,
Good writer.
he is very good. He's been around for a long time in a lot of different projects. And this is one of them that I wanted to see for quite some time. I believe it came out in like 2022, maybe even 2020 timeframe, somewhere around there. Who does he play on The Office? Kelly Kapoor's boyfriend. Ryan, thank you. I don't know. It ran away from me. But yeah, he plays Ryan on The Office if you're trying to put a face to who I'm talking about. Anyway, this was his film, and it is about a writer that's very successful, and he wants to do a podcast. And this is when podcasts is really starting to get big money podcasts. And he wants to figure out what that perfect story would be. And he gets a call out of the blue from one of his paramours, brothers, stating that this young lady has died of an overdose and that he needs to come to the funeral. Let's rewind. Why is this so shocking? Why is this confusing to him? He's a playboy in New York. He dates all these women, all different girls, and they go over this. It's very cool how they go over like how this story is going to be set up and why he's not going to know much about the women he's dating on a rooftop scene with John Mayer. And it's very funny the way they're talking. Like, it's hilarious. Like, it is definitely womanizing. I'm going to be very clear, and I'm cognizant of that, but it's funny. All right, the way they're talking about it is funny, and it's just the two of them talking in this scene. And it sets up kind of his attitude for the whole movie. Meanwhile, we find out that he has to go all the way to Texas to this funeral, and not like Dallas. And it's very funny because he says, "Is it Dallas?" And the brother goes, "Dallas is in Texas." Somewhere in West Texas. And it's on Netflix now. Ashton Kutcher plays a great record producer, and he plays the character so smooth and so... like, it's not Ashton Kutcher. It's not like, look at me, I'm Jack Blacklight. It's very much like in itself. It's a role very controlled. He handles it well. The lines that he delivers are delivered very well. And it kind of turns you on the movie and where the movie is going. And it culminates in one of the best endings to a movie that I've seen in a very, very long time. And there's a couple really great quotes here. And it's... they blow up his car. They blow up his Prius while he's in Texas. And he finds out they blew up his car just because he was a Texas fan and not a Texas Tech fan. And he goes, "You blew up my car over football?" And the quote is, "What if you were driving a real car with gas and stuff? What could have happened?" And they're worried about him. And then another quote, "If everything means everything, then nothing means anything." Mm-hmm. And I loved that. And it is a great way to hold a mirror to today's society. I gave this movie a pop too. Again, it's called Vengeance, and it was a lot of fun. I couldn't stop watching it, and I wanted to go to sleep last night, so I watched this till 12:30 last night.
I actually I Googled it and saw the like poster or whatever, and I do remember this movie coming out. Yeah. And
it was like under the radar.
Being pretty close to watching it a couple times and being like, but I might check it out now.
Yeah, I never got a chance to watch it. It was always on a service I didn't have, or I might have been in the move to England where I couldn't get onto Hulu, or it was pulled off Hulu when I went to watch it. So I finally got to watch it, and it was worth it.
Very nice.
Very nice.
Yeah. So
right.
I watched Boy Kills World, something that our Josh, he made an executive decision a while back, pivoted away from a movie that, I mean, probably none of us really wanted to watch. I don't remember which one it was, but he went ahead and watched Boy Kills World, and I watched Boy Kills World. I wanted to watch this myself, but his review influenced my decision quite a bit. It's a very tongue-in-cheek, cheesy action movie. Dialogue is really clever. Sometimes it tries a little too hard to be funny, except for Charlton Copley, who you did say, plays pretty much the same character he played in Monkey Man.
Yeah. Arnie Palmies.
Yeah. He, there's spoiler alert. They kill him way too soon in the movie. He's like, I really liked him. He was bringing it life kind of when it was a little bit, I wasn't sure. The sidekick guy for him is a good actor. I'd like to see that guy in more things. I don't know if I've ever seen him in anything else. the guy he frees from the little work dungeon thing. Basho. Annoying kid from The Boys is in this as well. I don't like that guy. His face. The son that plays Homelander's son. The Daft Punk.
Oh gosh, he's funny on social media.
Really?
Yeah, I just started seeing some of his stuff because I accidentally clicked one thing, and it was because like he looks like a girl, I guess. And so there's a lot of girls are like, when your friends tell you look like Homelander's kid, and then he'll be like stitching himself into it, like making a face.
Well, good for him. Good for him. Daft Punk lady is pretty cool with the helmet. That could have played very corny.
Yeah.
But actually it plays pretty cool. The twist is very just soap opera lame to me, though. It really, that whole story turn didn't play well for me. I didn't like that at all. The final fight showdown scene with the master guy was really over the top, but cool. It was very cool. I like the way it's choreographed.
Like the brutality of it really fed the story that you didn't like. But I feel what you're saying. I mean, it was so gratuitous in every way.
Yeah. I give this a popcorn and 1. It was fun. Definitely worth a watch. Popcorn and 1.
Okay. All right. Josh, you got some stand-up comedy in, huh?
Yes, sir. I watched, what's his name? Nick Swardson. He's the guy who... Swardson. He was, I want to say Nicky. I don't know. But the guy on Rollerblades and Reno 911. He's the guy who was in and co-wrote Grandma's Boy. And he's been in a lot of things. He's a good friend of Norm Macdonald on the podcast a lot.
Has a penis watch.
What?
Has a penis watch.
He has a penis watch.
Yeah, you've never seen his other stand-up comedy specials? Pardon me.
No.
Where he used to go to bars and say, "Hey, you want to see my watch?"
Yeah.
Wow. That's good.
Can't do that anymore after Louis C.K.
Good. So this was because of Louis C.K. we can't show our penises off. This is a YouTube special, and I think that word special is getting overused. We need a new word for it, like stand-up comedy segment or recording. I don't know what you want to call it, but they're not special anymore because everyone's got one. Everyone's got 5. Is it special because you turned the camera on?
Even that pedophile, Krista D'Elia, has one. He has a YouTube channel.
Yeah, that guy. Big jerk. It's good though.
It's really weird.
That's not really to take away from this special. It's pretty good. It's solid. It's not heavy, awesome. He starts off with I think pretty obvious for him type of joke. I'm going to the local pool and there's a sign that says, if you've had diarrhea in the last 2 weeks, don't go in the pool. And he says, 2 weeks? And the joke is inferring that he gets diarrhea all the time. And that's the joke, right? So, and because I'm old and I'm plus 50 and stuff. So it's not great. It's B plus humor.
Stolen. I don't know if it's stolen, but anyways.
Oh, no, he comments on that too. He says, you've heard that joke 1,000 times. This is my version of it. And that thing too.
Okay, well, very good.
So that's cool. He does some stuff at the end. His finale is he talks about the movies and stories from Grandma's Boy. They're really good stories. Mm-hmm. His special is called Make Joke from Face, which is probably the best thing about the special. It's a great title. I give it a popcorn. I'll give it a popcorn.
So it was not that funny.
It was good enough.
Did you regret watching it?
No, I'd watch it again. Not on purpose.
You have to be scrolling on YouTube and be like, we'll just do this here for 30 minutes.
I got some laundry to fold.
There you go. I watched Umbrella Academy Season 4, which is the final season of Umbrella Academy. And I gotta say, Nick Offerman and Megan Mullally as a married couple are incredible. I knew it. I knew you had one around there somewhere.
Anyway, Megan Mullally and Nick Offerman?
They're amazing as a married couple that do occasional roles together because their chemistry is phenomenal. They're so funny, both of them.
I've seen them live do a show. It's good.
Have you? Yeah, both of them on their own are very funny. On their own, they're both very funny. So combining their power is great, and they do that to its full extent. And they kind of They kind of saved season 4 here because it was rough for a lot of the episodes. and it's a little too much, but they actually land the plane. Right, I think some fans are going to be like, "Give me more Klaus," or "Give me more Diego." I want to see more about Lilith and Diego, and I wanted to see that too. The one thing that really turned me off is you've got, again, I don't want to spoil it, some scenes that are unnecessary as far as romantic connections are concerned. That's how I'll phrase it. And I'm like, this is not necessary. This is not intricate to the storyline. In fact, it kind of takes me out of it because I don't like this storyline. I really hate it, and it could have been a good storyline. Only because you injected like a terrible love story into it that was unnecessary, that kind of throws a wrench into everything I'm watching. But at the end of the day, how they save the world really ties everything together and lets you know there will not be a season 5. This is, in fact, the final episode of this show.
Yeah,
I will
they
say,
landed the plane.
Finally. David Cross is great in this. He does not play the character you think he plays. You think he's going to be Tobias, and he's not. He is a totally different, very serious character, and he does a fantastic job in this role. We finally learned the truth about Ben and how Ben was actually killed on the mission years and years and years ago. It was the death that ripped the family apart in season 1, and he's slowly been making his way back in to the show. I will say this, though. When we break into a house in a movie, how come they always steal candlesticks? What is with that? What's
going on here? Oh, candlesticks is it's kind of like the in Spider-Man 2 with the money bags full of gold coins. It's like a candlestick is commonly stolen in the old days because it's portable, it's quick, it's very sellable. So it's symbolic.
Silver? Like silver, gold? Like, why are we stealing candlesticks? Stop stealing candlesticks.
Why do you have candlesticks?
Yes, also, who just has candlesticks? Like, just lying around their house. I'm done with this. Anyway, overall, because it took about, it was, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, 7 episodes this season.
Sure.
And so the finale was in the 7th episode, and it took about 4 episodes to really get going. And that's why I'm giving this season a popcorn and 1. There were some fun parts to it, though. Like, we learned that Klaus can not only talk to dead humans, he talks to dead dogs, and that scene was pretty funny. There was, of course, a scene. Klaus kind of steals the show quite a bit.
I love Klaus, dude. He needs to be in a Marvel.
Yeah, he steals the show quite a bit, but it's where he gets possessed, and he has to have sex with the clients to make money for drug use that he has in the past, and he's got to sow his debts by having his body like possessed by ghosts that will have sex with their former spouses. Which is pretty hilarious way to do it. Yeah, it was a pretty hilarious way to do it. Again, though, popcorn and 1. You can't take 4 episodes in a 7-episode season to get going. You can't do it. It's too much. All right, pop 1. Jordan.
Yeah. I watched a period piece called Mudbound on Netflix. It's a bummer. It's a bummer of a movie. It's starring Mary J. Blige. It's also got the guy who plays Eazy-E from Straight Outta Compton.
Okay.
It's got Carey Mulligan, so decent cast. But it's basically in the South actually kind of during and post World War II, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
World War II, Vietnam, something like that. Oh yeah, World War II. Mississippi. Sort of like a sharecropping type deal. White family moves on the property. They start bossing around the black family that lives on the property, who's lived there for generations, and they just want to get like some kind of ownership over the land that their family has worked. But then like a new white family, like they think their time is coming. It's like, okay, finally we're going to be granted our ownership over this land. And then like a new white family moves in, and they're like, oh, sorry, you got to wait till this family's done with the land. Like they're in charge now.
Done with the land.
Yeah, there's this whole like war. Yeah. There's this whole like war. The brother from the white family goes off to the war, and the favorite son from the black family goes off to the war, and then they come home and they become friends, and that doesn't jive well with the families and the town. And there's a little bit of that. That's not the whole story. There's a few.
We can't have mixing friends.
Y'all just can't be on the same pool table.
There's a few different little storylines going on, little dramas going on all within this movie. There's a really, really brutal scene, like a clan kind of climactic thing that goes on at the end of this movie. It's pretty hard to watch. But overall, this is like, it's a good movie. It's a day ruiner. I think I've used that term before. It really ruins your day. You got to watch something funny after. but I think it's an important movie. I think it shows an important time period and brings some important perspectives. Popcorn 2.
Poppy
Cool.
2.
Yeah. Yep.
Poppy 2. Go back to back, sir.
Back to back. All right. I watched Those Who Die on Peacock, and this is their Gladiator show. But that's the way they sold it to you.
Chariots!
Yeah, Chariots. They were selling you a bill of goods here, I think, that they didn't exactly follow through with. They really tried to sell you with Anthony Hopkins. He's more of a cameo in this. I hate to break it to you. Yeah. He's very short-lived character in this. The bastard guy from Game of Thrones, Ramsay Bolton, one of the biggest villains of Game of Thrones, he is in this, and he plays not an all good guy, not an all bad guy. He's very good. He's a likable character in this. Kind of redeems himself. It's about takes place kind of in the period where there's like this slow collapse of Rome happening, but you're kind of in this limbo period with Rome. I'm not going to bore you with history stuff. The writing quality it's like PS2 video game caliber, character writing, script writing for the dialogue and all that. It's just not video game surface level. Some of the individual storylines are compelling. Talks about like the African controlled nations of Rome, which is like something you don't really get in these movies. Which was that was an interesting new take on stuff.
Like invaded.
Yeah.
With the elephants and shit.
Yeah. Oh yeah. There's a lot of that. So there's a lot going on at the first like episode or two in this show. That it's a lot going on way too fast. Throw you in there. It's very confusing, very overwhelming. So if you can get past that, it does ease up, and you do start to, things start to connect, and it starts to narrow and focus. So it's the large scale scenes when they pull back the camera, it's amazing. Like it's like, whoa, you really feel like you're there. But when the closer it gets, like the dialogue, just the small little scenes, things going on in the background, they're very flat. Everything just appears very flat. It's not very convincing. There's a very bad CGI lion in this. Like they have animals, elephants, and all these different things going on that actually come off pretty cool. But there is one specific.
They messed up a lion. They messed up the king of the jungle.
Yeah, because it's like it's pretty central to the storyline. There's just not enough gladiator scenes, and the gladiator scenes are just way too dramatic. Like, just give me some gladiator scenes, just some guys fighting. There's just way too much talking and drama going on within these gladiator fight scenes. I give this a popcorn and 1. I give it a popcorn
and
1.
Yeah.
Well, I caught the new movie, The Instigators, on Apple Plus, is it Apple Plus or Apple TV Plus? Which one is it now?
TV.
It's Apple Dapple.
Apple Dapple. Dappling apples over here, petting my skag. What I saw was the Instigators, pardon me, starring Matt Damon, Casey Affleck, and Jack Harlow. And I reaffirmed my opinion on Jack Harlow from White Man Can't Jump. He cannot act. He's a bad actor. It's bad. I know Jordan likes him. He's rough. It's just he's not a good actor. I'm sorry. He's bad.
Not a great rapper. Just not great.
It's a pretty face, man. But you know what? I will say this. In Dave, he is fantastic in season 3 of Dave. Like, he did great in that. But he was essentially just playing like a really amped up version of himself. And he did great at it. It was fantastic watching him play that role. Overall, it's a robbery or a heist gone wrong of the mayor. And no one ever thinks you're going to rob the mayor twice, right? No one thinks that could happen. That's never been done in movie history. But anyway, it happens here. And madness ensues. I will say Casey Affleck, I know he is not a great person, according to very many people on his set. He has some issues in his past. He does well in this role. I mean, he's a good actor. I will say that. I have to credit where credit is due. He's a good actor. He's solid in everything he does, and he probably saves this role. Matt Damon is kind of annoying in this film. And I said this with Smile, stop making the field of psychology like a joke in your movies or some trope. Like, it's so annoying, like the way they do it. No psychologist is ever going to yell down the hallway after a client has left their office something about what just occurred in that session. That will never happen. Stop doing that stuff. It's annoying. All right? It's just okay. It's stylish. It has its fun elements. It has its jokes that are retread. But it's a popcorn and one. It's not going to be your favorite heist movie ever. It's going to have elements that make you laugh, but it's really kind of a corny buddy cop movie with two criminals.
We're not going to have any popcorn and threes this episode, are we?
It's popcorn. Well, let's see. Jordan, your final review.
We're definitely not. I'm going to spoil that for you right now. My final review was season 2 of House of the Dragon, and I didn't really take any notes on this because it wasn't very noteworthy. There was a couple cool scenes, a couple little twisty turnies, nothing unexpected. It's everything that was set up from season 1 is starting to just kind of come to fruition. There's like 2 episodes in this whole season that was worth the anticipation of this long wait that they have you wait for these new seasons to come out. You get a lot of dragons. You got a lot of dragon fighting.
I like dragons.
So that's good. That's good. I mean, it's what we're promised, right? House of the Dragon. Some good lore and stuff in there, but there's just way too much character just whining. Oh, I'm not who I'm supposed to be. This is who I'm supposed to be, but I can't be this person who I'm supposed to be. A lot of that. The entire season, Daemon Targaryen, one of the most polarizing characters in this show, he just spends the entire season just like in this weird fog of just it's dumb. It's dumb. There have been memes about like, God, don't make me watch another week of Daemon Targaryen seeing shadows. Like, please.
That is funny because they've been doing that since episode 1.
Yeah, it's like, please. But it's So this season was just set up for a season 3. I don't know how far. Did they have like an end game? Did they say like we're making 3-4 seasons of this?
Not that I've seen. No.
No. Okay. Well, I know they're taking a hiatus to give us this night show. Does anybody know what that's called? The
Night of the Seven Kingdoms.
Night of something. The night bread night.
Yeah.
Something. I don't know.
No, it's like a Night of the Seven Kingdoms or something like that.
Something.
Oh, okay. It's like a hedge night kind of thing. That'd be fun.
Hedge night. Yeah, something like that. So we're getting that next year. So it's going to be 2 years before we find out how all of this ends up working out. Popcorn and one this season.
We got to stop making filler seasons, guys.
Yeah, especially if you're going to make us wait that long for it.
Yeah.
Or give us something. There was a lot of, you know what, though? There was a lot of dragon fights in this season. There was a lot of dragon deaths in this season. There was a lot of members of the royal family getting murked in this season. So you got to give credit where credit is due. I mean, they tried to give you the action, but we have recency bias. What we remember is the last thing we saw. We don't remember everything else that went into it. And the last thing we saw, apparently, was not a great final episode. You got to, if you get one thing right all season long, it's got to be the final act. You've got to get the final act right. That's all we remember.
Yeah.
Yep. That is one small fault that occurred with Batman. Batman didn't really have a big bangarang finale.
Yeah, you can't mess that up because that's all we're going to talk about once it's over. I mean, look at Game of Thrones. They gave us quite a few really solid seasons, and then that last episode was not what we wanted.
Some of the best TV on earth ever. And the last season, but the last 2 episodes were like, come on, dude.
Yeah. Gave them all the fodder, and they messed it up. They didn't know how to fire. Well, it is my drunk classic this week. Josh wanted to play a little game. So this movie came out in 2020. It stars somebody that Jordan mentioned earlier in Mudbound, Carey Mulligan. It also stars one of Josh's favorite comedians, I think. I don't know anymore, but I know we got into an argument over this person, Bo Burnham.
Oh,
we got into a pretty serious argument over whether we like him or not. Go ahead, Jordan.
Is it a hot young woman or something like that?
It's not a hot young woman. A Promising Young Woman.
Promising young woman. Oh God, this movie is a mind trip. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, this is a day
I'll like
ruiner.
it.
This is a day ruiner, as Jordan would say.
Yeah. It's got some entertaining qualities to it. It's got some fun moments to it, but no, it's mostly pretty psychotic.
Can I watch it with my mom?
It might be triggering if your mom's had trauma.
Oh, she's got a lot.
It's traumatic. It's a traumatic movie.
I mean, use judgment.
Okay.
I mean, you don't get a lot of it till, I guess, the last 45 minutes, the final act, is where you start to get a lot of the trauma and stuff. It's a fun movie up until that point. But yeah, so that is, I think, my most recent movie I picked for a drunk classic. So, Promising Young Woman probably should have won the Oscar the year it was up for it. It did not. But we've also got a movie that will never be nominated an Oscar, but it stands a chance to be a huge fan favorite as a butter on top. Alien Romulus.
Ooh, it looks spooky, man.
Is this in line with Prometheus, Alien Covenant?
I think this is prequel status, dude.
Yeah, I think they tried to get away from that.
Are they? Because they didn't hit?
Yeah.
Even though I liked them. Okay. But yeah, I can't wait. This looks like a return to some horror.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
Yeah,
we'll see.
Spooky.
Did you see the viral marketing campaign around New York where people were there were bodies with face huggers all over New York?
Ew, dude. What the hell?
Yeah, all over New York they laid bodies with face huggers on them.
Can I just give a hot take here? Unrelated.
Yeah, go ahead.
The Beetlejuice, this latest theater trailer that's going around, it just looks like it's going to be a bad movie. I'm sorry.
Yep.
I'm going to watch it. But I just feel like the CGI, like the original Beetlejuice.
There's no CGI.
What?
It's all practical effects.
The first, it looks terrible. It looks way too cartoonish. I'm sorry.
It
does not look good. It does not look good. This movie is not going to be good. I'm telling you, I'm going to call it now. But I'm going to watch it. Absolutely. And I'm excited to watch it. But, come on. I think that's going to let me down. My expectations are very low.
The director's going to be Netflix.
Jordan spoiled by CGI in 2024, forgetting how great practical effects were in Batman and Nightmare Before Christmas.
No, I'm saying
the original Beetlejuice.
Bad. I'm saying
there's no CGI. I keep telling you, it's practical effects.
In the second Beetlejuice, the new one?
Yes, it's all practical effects. Tim Burton's doing all practical effects, just like the first Beetlejuice.
Okay. Well, I don't know what happened. Okay, we'll see.
All right. Well, thank you so much for tuning in. Remember to follow us on X, follow us on Instagram, look for our videos, which they will definitely tag me in, both of them, both on Gorp videos and Popcorn videos, so that we can spread those to as big an audience as we can. This has been Popcorn and Beers. As always, we'll see you at the movies. You get the popcorn, and we got the beer.